And that's what the communist always starts with, the bad memories. Oh, we can get rid of that little story. We can knock down that statue. We can change the name of that street. That's a bad memory from our history. You don't want that memory hanging around. You're not a bigot, right? And slowly but surely, this wall comes down, then that wall gets sledgehammered. The rafter where dad hit his head, that's gone. The rug where your son took his first step, that's gone. The gash in the wood floor where you stomped the glass on your wedding ceremony, that's gone and replaced with shiny vinyl planks. And now you've got a brand new home with no memories. Now what? Do you care what they do with it? Do you care what color they paint the walls? Nah. Do whatever you want. I don't care. I have no attachment to it. I have no memories with that. You love your home because of the memories you have there. And that's why the communist always must destroy your memories, destroy your history. If the communist wishes to take your home, he must first destroy your memory of it so he can erase your attachment to it and demoralize you. Mao destroyed what he called the four olds: old ideas, old culture, old customs, and old habits. If you call them olds, it makes them sound bad. You don't want that old thing. Get rid of it. But it is fundamentally human nature to cherish your history. We crave learning about our history, where we came from, who our ancestors were. That's human. But communism is an evil, anti-human religion, so it must destroy what makes us human. The communist destroys your history so he can take your home and rebuild it in his image. That's why it's your patriotic duty to celebrate today unashamed. It's okay to love America. Not only is it okay to love America, it's necessary to love America. We are the only bulwark against tyranny on this earth. When Europe descends into madness time and time again, it's our sons who cross the oceans to fight and die for freedom and human dignity. We don't let evil people destroy our history and rewrite it in their image. This is Independence Day. It's not just a number on the calendar. Don't say Happy 4th. That's commie gobbledygook.
No offense, but it sounds like some fucking commie gobbledygook.
We say Independence Day. Today we celebrate the men who reclaimed a beautiful slice of this earth and claimed it for God, for the values of freedom and rugged independence. Our history is messy. Our history is violent. Fuck yeah, it is. And that's why we love it. We aren't cowards. We don't turn our backs on the painful memories because they make us who we are. Be proud of our country, damn it. America is the birthplace of every great invention of the last 250 years. Like literally everything. Airplanes, spaceships, internet, telephones. As a country, we are batting 1,000. Not only is it a miracle that this radical experiment in self-governance even survived past 1776, but we are the champions of the world. Be proud of that. Be proud of your history. Millions of your ancestors fought and died to preserve it. Commie Mamdani's ancestors never bled for this country. He has no history here, so he has no attachment to our home. He has no place to rewrite our history and lecture us about what our country stands for. So celebrate today. Show some American pride. Honor your history. Raise your flag. Raise a finger and say, fuck you, communists. This is our home, and you can't have it. Today we celebrate our Independence Day. God bless America.
It makes you tear up, doesn't it? Just a little bit? It does to me. So this report was put out maybe on July 4th, I forget, but very recently, Saving America's Story. And what it's about is the ideological capture by our enemies, by the communists, of the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History. That is literally erasing America's heritage. Doesn't talk about the founding fathers. You wouldn't know who George Washington or Thomas Jefferson or James Madison. That's all erased. The only history about America they tell is the bad history, the slavery, the oppressed, the intersectional horrors of America. And it completely glosses over everything that makes America great. Everything that makes America the greatest nation on the face of the earth that has ever existed. And so this thing is, 160 pages long. So we can't read the whole thing. But I did want to share just the executive summary with all of you. And I did link it in the description of today's show. So you can click on it, download the whole report if you want to read it. And you should, or at least skim it. Saving America's Story, How Ideological Capture at the Smithsonian Institution's National Museum of American History Erases Our Heritage, Our National Story. This Smithsonian Institution is one of the nation's greatest civic treasures, a place where parents bring their children and tourists from across the country and around the world come to learn about America. At the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, visitors, young and old, should encounter the story of the United States told with honesty, seriousness, and pride. In particular, it should help the American people understand where America came from, what makes it distinctive, and why it is worth preserving. In making their case to Congress in 1953, Smithsonian leadership argued that one of the main reasons the Museum of American History should be created is to place before millions who visit the nation's capital each year a stimulating, permanent exposition that commemorates our heritage of freedom and highlights the basic elements of our way of life. In 1955, then Smithsonian Secretary Leon Carmichael testified to Congress that if authorized, the museum would tell the story of American national progress and cement America's progress for citizen and foreign visitors alike. As he put it, the museum we envision is planned to instill in each citizen a deepened faith in our country's destiny as a champion of individual dignity and enterprise. Equally, it's so conceived to instill in each foreign visitor admiration and respect for our ever-expanding social and technological horizons. 2 months later, based on that promise, Congress authorized the museum's construction and allocated $36 million to cover the cost. Then director of the U.S. National Museum, Remington Kellogg, what an American name is that, Remington Kellogg, noted at the museum's opening in 1964 that the new museum was intended to awaken in citizen and foreigner alike a clear understanding of the inspiring story of the United States, its origins, struggles, development, tradition, strength. One Museum of American History curator who worked at the museum for nearly 4 decades before retiring in 2016 noted that the museum's founding goal was more than simply the increase and diffusion of general knowledge. The Museum of American History was intended to be proudly patriotic. Speaking at the museum's dedication ceremony in January 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson explained his hope and belief that the museum's iconic artifacts should be used to foster patriotism. Back when Democrats loved America, he stated, quote, Lyndon Johnson here, I would hope that there will come to this building the children of the nation, for here is recorded, as William Faulkner expressed it, the agony and the sweat of the human spirit, the victory of freedom and genius of our country. Here young children see with their own eyes, yes, even to touch with their own hands, the ripe fruit of America's historical harvest. Whitney's cotton gin, Singer's sewing machine, McCormick's reaper, Edison's phonograph, Bell's telephone. They are all here, a part of this treasure house of our inheritance, our American inheritance. The more we understand the meaning of the past, the more we appreciate the winning of the future. If this museum did nothing more than illuminate our heritage so that others could see a little better our legacy, however so small the glimpse, it would fulfill a noble purpose. Then this White House report just released, transitions. This report by the Domestic Policy Council demonstrates that the National Museum of American History fails in this basic task of illuminating our heritage. We're going to hear the story of the commies destroying America's narrative. This report by the Domestic Policy Council demonstrates that the National Museum of American History fails in the basic task of illuminating our heritage. Our central finding is not that the museum has simply added overlooked stories, corrected perceived errors, or broadened its historical scope. Rather, it's that the museum leadership has explicitly adopted an ideological framework that no longer treats the American story as a shared national inheritance to be taught or celebrated, but rather as a political instrument to divide, dispirit, and discourage our citizens. Communist takeover, classic. As this report shows, confirmed in the words of museum leadership, this ideological capture has moved the museum's mission away from straightforward historical education and scholarship toward an extreme political activism that seeks to transform our country. That shift from history to activism is clearly documented in this report. Anthea Hartig, the National Museum of American History's director since 2019, has explicitly stated that she sees history as the prime tool of social justice. And one of her roles is connecting research and scholarship to activism and advocacy. Hartog has also stated, "We work to reframe the traditional celebratory narrative of U.S. history for visitors, to reframe it." She claims to have had a personal head start, propped up as I was, and I am, by the cushion of whiteness and the pillows of the bourgeoisie. Hartog believes the museum profession has to figure out how we're going to problematize the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence in 2026. That loving America is very complicated, and that objects in the museum's collection should be used to move attention away from an Anglo-centric, white, focus on the American founding. These are not the words of an objective historian, but rather those of an activist, advancing an ideological agenda contradictory to the museum's founding purpose of fostering patriotism. At the heart of our concern is a simple question: what should a National Museum of American History do? Our conviction, like that of Secretary Carmichael, Director Kellogg, and President Johnson, is that such a museum should tell the American story clearly and fairly. It should explain the rise of the original 13 colonies, the struggle for independence, the principles of the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution, and the role these documents have played in securing Americans' most basic freedoms. It should document and share the achievements and failures of the nation and the extraordinary men and women of every color and creed who shaped its course. It should tell the truth, including of the nation's mistakes and injustices, but it should do so within a coherent account of a people striving, often imperfectly, but more often nobly, to live up to our founding principles of liberty and equality under a republican form of government. It should especially teach the history of an American nation that is worthy of our affections and worth passing along to future generations. Any proper telling of the American history should, as the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. noted, explain that the goal of America is freedom and bring our nation back to those great wells of democracy which were dug deep by the Founding Fathers in their formulation of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. According to the findings from our months-long investigation, that is no longer what visitors encounter. Instead, the museum confronts visitors with materials intended to undermine faith in American institutions and the long-standing shared ideals of the American people. And shared ideals is what makes any people, including the American people. Otherwise, we're just a mob. We're not a nation. As this report shows, the museum purposely presents America as a problematic country, irredeemably conceived, founded by deeply flawed men, and still operating today as an instrument of systemic racism and oppression. In the museum's current telling, the country is, above all, defined by white supremacy, slavery, conquest, exclusion, hierarchy, racism, xenophobia, misogyny, and systemic injustice. These are the people who run our National Museum of American History. This is the narrative they're telling through that institution. This report identifies a broad pattern. The founders are minimized, if not entirely excluded. Traditional patriotic narratives are treated with suspicion, if not outright contempt. And the basic symbols and stories that once helped unify Americans are presented not as reasons for gratitude and inspiration, but as objects to be inherently questioned, dismantled, and problematized, and reinterpreted to achieve communist ideological ends. To the extent that there is a story told at the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History, it is not one of the victory of freedom and genius of our country, but one of regret, tragedy, and shame. Now, that's all the executive summary I'm going to read. But again, I've linked this entire report in the description of today's show. And you should take a look at it. It's horrific. And obviously something needs to be done to save American story.